course.
This might be short and quite explosive, but Steve Pollard in the white trunks here in the other corner is a real seasoned pro. He's had 55 fights in a long career. He's 33 years of age, and he's had 33 defeats as well. But he knows his way around, doesn't he, Steve Pollard, Glenn?
He's got a lot of experience. He's the, have gloves, will travel mode, and usually puts up a very good fight. He's a tough guy. Alan Hall is a very good prospect. Has looked very good in his wins, and but it's still a difficult fight. Hall's still got to do his good work, because this guy can cause him problems.
Good test this for Alan Hall on the way up there, thinking of pitching him in quite soon for a Commonwealth title. Big plans for him.
Well, this is the right sort of fight for him. He's got to, if he can do a job on Pollard, then he's obviously going the right way.
Hall won the ABA light welterweight title in 1988 and 89, so he's a top-class amateur, but he missed Olympic selection for the Olympics in Seoul because they thought he was just a bit too inexperienced. In the 89 final, he beat the very good Robert McCracken. So this is a class act. Alan Hall in the red trunks. Pollard, a knowing journeyman, beloved of promoters. Fights on undercards and in small halls around the country, never gets any publicity. Well, he's on telly tonight anyway, Glenn.
He's saying he is, but Hall's got to be careful, because Pollard, can still upset it. And if any sort of criticism given, at times he does tend to get a little bit flashy, does tend to drop his hands. Hall. He does have the skill. But, you can't give the better fighters and the stronger fighters that much of a chance.
All part of this boxing revival I've been talking about in the Northeast, which Glenn himself, of course, has been involved in, and Billy Hardy as well, the top bantamweight, has got another world title chance coming up on this channel in May against Orlando Conazales. That is going to be a cracker.
It's great to see, young Northeast youngsters coming up and doing very well. And Hall's one of them, and there's some good fighters up here. And it's good that we're starting to get the shows up here in the television, and the Northeast becoming a boxing centre.
Yeah, Northeast has made its name with football and athletes like Steve Crabb and Brendan Foster. Maybe boxing as well. Alan Hall, he's got good fast hands. That's one of the strong impressions you form of him when you see him. Last few seconds of this, the first round. Steve Pollard in no great trouble in it. He walked onto a right there, though. And then good body shots from Hall. End of the first round of this six-rounder. Welcome back to Darlington. One round gone and 5 scheduled to go in this fight, which was first of all billed at lightweight, but is really rather more like welterweight. Alan Hall in the red trunks, the bright young 21-year-old prospect, fighting in his hometown. Steve Pollard, the experienced pro of 55 fights, only 18 wins, but he really has been in with some very good men indeed. He's been matched quite highly with the likes of Jim McDonnell and Jean-Marc Renard, that top-class Belgian, Alex Dixon, Peter Harris, Carl Crook, all champions, and Pollard goes down under that barrage from Hall in the second round, and he's got a problem, I think, with his right eye. I think he might have been thumbed. He might have got a thumb in the eye. He's blinking, and I think his vision's obscured, and that's dangerous, Glenn, because he can't see the left's coming now if he can't see out of that right eye.
It's very dangerous, especially when a fighter is quick as Hall. He's covering up well. He's got a nice tight guard. I don't know what happened there, whether it was a thumb or whether he just caught the edge of a glove in the eye. But he's obviously in some distress.
Good jab from Pollard there as he came. Well, there's a nice body shot, or attempted body shot. Then another good right. Got him going again now. He's got him going again, has Hall. And Pollard bravely waves him in as if to say, not hurt. When fighters do that, it often means they are hurt. It's a little psychological thing.
There was a very good right hand that caught him there, flush on.
Sorry, Glenn, I was interrupting you then.
Hall's a very good fighter. He has all the move, very fast. He looks a very good prospect. But again, just hasn't got to get overcautious with a fighter like this.
Snappy puncher, only taken the distance twice in his first 8 fights. And there's another good right to the body from him. He's fast as well, and there's that right to the head again. Very difficult to slip the punches of a boxer who throws his shots with such blurring hand speed as Hall. Always a sign, I think, of a class fighter, hand speed.
Certainly is, and he has plenty of that. In fact, he's from a fighting family, the Hall. There's a few brothers, all good fighters, trained by the dad, so they're a nice bunch.
Turned pro only 17 months ago, so if they are thinking of the Commonwealth title for him soon, that's quite early in his career, and I hope it's not too soon. He's managed by Frank Maloney, is Hall, who has these big ambitions for him. Always difficult to know when to go in off the diving board in at the deep end in boxing and when to end the learning process. Made Pollard miss there. Clubbed in with a couple of combinations as well. Good round this for Hall. Pollard down in it as well. End of the second round, and that was Hall's round, no question about it. And Pollard needed all his experience to get through it. I think his eye's all right now. There they are in the corner. Alan Hall, there he is, 21 years of age, unbeaten in those 8 fights with 6 of the victories inside the first couple of rounds. Weighing in here at 9 stone 12, so he's up really near light welterweight. And this is where we think the thumb might have gone into the eye of Pollard in that exchange. He went down, body shots landed there, and then the right to the head. He was almost on the floor when that landed, Glenn.
He was. It was a good combination. Left a big right hand to the body that started it and got him all sorts of trouble. And a beautiful right hand there, just as he was moving backwards. He's done well to stand up under them shots.
It was hard to see where that thumb went in the eye, if indeed it did, but certainly after that, Pollard's vision seemed to be obscured. He was blinking a bit, but I think he's all right now. Third round of 6. Alan Hall of Darlington in the red trunks. He's a fighter you might see a good deal more of, I would think. Still a bit swollen about that right eye, I've noticed, Steve Pollard.
Pollard threw a nice left hook there. He's still a dangerous guy and a very cagey guy. A fella like 33-year-old and still looks very fit and in good shape.
Comes from Hull, where he owns his own sports shop. And you might notice on his shorts, he's got the names Billy and Laura. I think those are his children. There's another good-looking body shot from Hall. Oh, and then the right to the head. He does look a bit of a mean machine when he opens up.
He has 2 very nice shots there. He has a very good repertoire of punches. A right hook lead to the body and a right hook lead to the head. Not many fighters are fast enough to get away with them sort of shots.
He has rather become a bit of a renter-loser in his more later years. Always guaranteed to give you a decent little test, but not expected to beat you. Heads coming dangerously close together there.
Yeah, Hall's got to be careful of that. Pollard does tend to move his head a little bit in the clinches. Seems to be trying a little bit too, or maybe he's in front of his home crowd and he wants to impress, but he tries to be trying a little bit too hard for the one punch finish. Instead of putting shots together.
And he got caught by a left there, did Hall, then he got a bit sloppy. He had it with an own good right uppercut as well, but
keeps trying to land one big one, and you know, leading with a big right hand is often dangerous. Gotta put the get back on the jab, put the shots together a little more.
Yes, if he has got work to do, it looks as if it should be on the defence, doesn't it?
I think so. His hands are very, very lapsed. He is very quick, and like Harold McGrain, you can get out of the way, but you get in with a good fighter, and then all of a sudden you don't get out of the way.
Well, as Harold Graham himself found, it only takes one good shot to end it all.
That's true. That's true. So you've got to protect yourself at all times.
Nice little pat of mutual appreciation between the two fighters. Good spirit between them. Hall obviously respects Pollard as a good seasoned pro.
Well, it's a good fight. Hall's doing some nice work, but Pollard's never, you know, he doesn't look too outclassed or anything like that.
And there's that record. Look at that, 55 fights he's had. Always admire guys like that. They've been around for so long, and he still looks in quite good shape, doesn't he, too? Only 18 wins and 4 knockouts, 33 defeats. But remember, he's been mixing a lot of the time in very good company. He's not a mug.
I don't think there's many of them defeats inside the distance as well. I think there's only the real good fighters that have stopped him, such as the Jim McDonalds.
This is action again from that last round. Pollard still throwing out plenty of punches. He did catch Hall with one of those.
He caught him with quite a good shot, just moving in there.
That was a terrific right from Hall.
Fabulous right hand, and that was just following the body shot. But I'd like to see him, you know, get on the jab, not content to do the big ones.
Round 4. Alan Hall, only 21. And if they handle him right, he could be a big star, I think, up here in the northeast. There's good combinations from him. Nice variety of punches and thrown in clusters. Well, we're just overrunning our time a little. We're going to stay with this to see the end of the fight. But those of you waiting for the skiing on Eurosport and the cricket on the Sports Channel, it's going to follow right after this bout, so stay tuned.
I think Hall is obviously easily winning the fight and doing all the better work, but I don't think he'll be happy unless he can probably get Steve Pollard out of the way. And at the minute he's still getting plenty of problems from Pollard.
Jim McDonald beat Pollard twice. Alex Dixon stopped him in 7 rounds. Carl Cook did it in 4. Peter Harris, the one-time British featherweight champion, beat him as well. Hall will be looking for a stoppage win here, but of course it's more difficult to get the stoppage win in 6 rounds than if you're in a 10-rounder.
That's right. I think he'll also be looking for it in front of his home crowd. He obviously wants to impress and look good, and at times that can get you into trouble because you forget about, you know, your basic boxing and you just look for big shots.
Frank Maloney, the manager of Alan Hall, was saying that there's been a bit of argy-bargy over the purse money for this tonight, and in the end Hall is ending up fighting for nothing, if you believe that. I don't think any boxers fight for nothing, do they? But that's what they're claiming anyway, the count.
Well, that's what you want to do. I wouldn't want to put any of my boxes in for nothing.
Well, their story was that Hall was very anxious indeed to box in front of his own fans and get some work in. I merely relay the tale. Hall not quite so sharp in this round.
Pollard's very strong and forcing the fight all the time, coming forward all the time, and he is giving Hall a few problems.
So, any thoughts that Alan Hall had here of another spectacular victory in double quick time have been dispelled by this tough old campaigner, Steve Pollard. 4 rounds gone, only 2 to go. There is Pollard. He's only been stopped 3 times in those 55 fights by Dixon and McDonnell and a fellow by the name of Dean Marsden. He's also fought, by the way, John Doherty, who was the Commonwealth lightweight champion for a time. That's Hall, trained by his father Alan, pro for 17 months, and managed by Frank Maloney, as I was telling you, who is also the manager of Lennox Lewis, who keeps, I don't know why, keeps cropping up in the discussions tonight, isn't he? Fifth round of 6 at light welter between Alan Hall in the red trunks and Steve Pollard in white. All the support in this crowd for the local boy. Can't have been too many fighters who came from Darlington in the history of the sport.
There's not too many that I can remember. Obviously, you know, before boxing became back, it had gone through a little lull in the northeast. But I would imagine, you know, this area down Middlesbrough, the northeast, was a very good area for fighting. I would imagine they've had some good ones in the time. Probably a while ago, but they'll have had some good ones.
I think the title shot they're looking for Alan Hall is against the Commonwealth lightweight champion Carl Crook, who holds the win over Pollard. But I think they might do well to just hold off for a little while longer. What do you think, Glenn?
I agree with that. You know, Hall's young, he's very marketable, he's got a good future, but I wouldn't be in too much of a rush with him. You know, he's still got a lot to learn, and you know, I think a bit more time will not do him any harm.
A little left in there from Pollard, who's been quite untroubled. He's taken quite a lot from Hall, but he's still coming forward. And you can see why the promoters like him, because he comes along, he earns his money, and he gives a fair little fight and puts up a fair performance.
Oh, he certainly comes to fight. Barring when he had the little problem with the eye, whether it was with thumb or not, we don't know, but barring that, he's been in no real trouble and continually forced to fight.
In his career, he's had a lot of problems with cuts. A lot of his fights have been stopped because of cut eyes. There must be a lot of scar tissue by those eyes, I guess, but it hasn't opened up, thankfully, tonight. He's lost 9 of his last 10, by the way, Pollard. Pollard throwing shots there, almost as Arnold Bryson was telling him to break. Good jab there from Hall. That's good. Doubling up on the jab.
That's certainly what he's got to do. He looks a better fighter when he throws the jab first and then starts to bring the combinations off of the jab. He's getting roughed up all the time. He's not having none of it his own way.
Yeah, crafty little punches inside from Pollard.
He certainly is. He's shown he's an old pro. He's been around and he knows the game.
Last few seconds of round 5. After this, only 1 to go, and Pollard still very much in there. So Steve Pollard in fight number 56 goes back to his corner, and he's probably quite satisfied with the way he's coping with young Hall so far, but I don't think there's much doubt that Hall on the scorecard of referee Arnold Bryson would be ahead here.
Hall's definitely doing the better work, the cleaner punching. He looks very good. It's just Pollard's tough, comes to fight, and he's not giving him any chances. He's giving him a good fight.
There's Alan Hall. He's a good-looking boy who could be fairly marketable for the promoters. Probably gets a bit of fan mail from the female fraternity. And might get a bit more after his appearance tonight on television. There's Steve Pollard. Some refreshment for him in the corner. Last round, he's been there before many times. 6th and last round then. And if you've tuned in, let me remind you, expecting to see the skiing on Eurosport or the cricket on the Sports Channel, you haven't got long to wait. We're just staying with the end of this fight, and then we're off to those sports.
The crowd certainly appreciate this one. It's a very good contest. You know, Hall's doing the nice work and flashy work. But Pollard's hanging in there, doing some good work of his own. And it's a nice contest to watch.
So far, only Sheffield's Darren Mount and the Frenchman Mohamed Oumad have taken Hall the full distance. It looks like Pollard is about to join them. He's a little bit marked around the eyes, Pollard.
A little bit, but he's come out of the fight in not too bad shape. He's still very sprightly, moving about, and you know, still quite fresh. Again, Hall's loading up with them big right hands, not doing that much damage.
And the way that Pollard operates, he'll probably be in action somewhere else in about a week's time on another undercard. Earning a few more pounds for the bank balance.
Well, he's the backbone of, you know, British boxing. All the promoters need fighters like this who will always give a good show.
Something not always appreciated by the wider fraternity, that not everyone is a Sugar Ray Leonard or a Mike Tyson or a Muhammad Ali. Pollard down briefly in round 2, but he's never really been in any what you'd call serious trouble, has he?
Not really. I think he was down more from the problem with the eye rather than a good shot. It's been a nice workout for Hall. He's done some nice boxing. It's been a good fight for him. But like I said before, I think he needs maybe a few more like this before he really goes looking for big title challenges.
I think it's what the trade papers like to call a good learning fight.
Pollard was trying the behind the back Sugar Ray Leonard punch there. Didn't quite come off.
So there's the countdown on the bottom right of your picture. Last 5 seconds. Steve Pollard is going to take Alan Hall the full distance, but I'll be surprised if Hall's hand isn't the one that is raised by referee Arnold Bryson. Indeed it is. Points win. Frank Maloney gives them a little pat. Hall learns a bit more from the crafty old pro Steve Pollard. Pollard gets his pay night. Everyone's pretty happy. And Alan Hall keeps his unbeaten record, which now stretches to 9 fights. Glenn?
That was a very good performance by Hall, and a nice workout. Pollard stuck in there and did a good job, and he's earned his money well. And a very good performance, and I think the crowd have enjoyed it.
Let's get the announcement now from Billy Keithley, RMC tonight.
Gentlemen, please. Your referee, Arnold Bryson, scores the contest. Alan Hall, 60 points. Steve Pollard, 57.5 points. Your winner from Darlington, Alan Hall. Thank you.
5 rounds to 1. Well, 5 rounds to none, with 1 even it was, in fact. So Alan Hall retains his unbeaten record. So I hope you've enjoyed our boxing from Darlington tonight. Some good boxing, a disappointing heavyweight contest maybe, but from Glenn McCrory and myself, good night to you.
Gentlemen, thank you. Gary, plainly one for the future there, Alan Hall.
Very good performance from a very good young prospect. My only advice to him would be never do it for nothing.
Yes, I think I'd echo those.